the social costs of free trade. For over a decade, free trade has hovered over the political system like a biblical commandment, striking down anything: trade unions, the environment, indigenous rights, even the constitutional standing of our own laws passed by our elected representative that gets in the way of unbridled greed. The broader negative consequences of this agenda, increasingly well documented by scholars, gets virtually no attention in the dominant media. Instead of reality, we get optimistic, multicultural scenarios of coordinated global growth. And instead of substantive debate, we get a stark, formulaic choice between free trade to help the world and gloomy sounding protectionism that will set everybody back. The degree to which this has become a purely ideological debate, devoid of any factual basis that people can weigh the gains and losses, is reflected in Thomas Friedman's astonishing claim, stated not long ago in a television interview, that he endorsed the Central American Free Trade Agreement, CAFTA, without even reading it. That is, simply because it stood for, quote, free trade. We have reached the stage when the poobahs of punditry have only to declare that the world is flat for everyone to agree it is without going to the edge and looking over. It's called reporting. I think what's happened is not indifference or laziness or incompetence, but the fact that most journalists on the plantation have so internalized conventional wisdom that they simply accept that the system is working as it should. That documentary I told you about, Buying the War, I can't tell you again how many reporters have told me that it just never occurred to them that high officials would manipulate intelligence in order to go to war. Hello? Similarly, the question of whether or not our economic system is truly just is off the table for investigation and discussion, so that alternative ideas, alternative critiques, alternative visions never get a hearing. And these are but a few of the realities that are obscured. What about this growing inequality? What about the resegregation of our public schools? What about the devastating onward march of environmental deregulation? All examples of what happens when independent sources of knowledge and analysis are so few and far between on the plantation. So, if we need to know what is happening, and big media won't tell us, if we need to know why it matters, and big media won't tell us, if we need to know what to do about it, and big media won't tell us, it's clear what we have to do. We have to tell the story ourselves. This is what the plantation owners feared most of all. Over all those decades here in the South, when they used human beings as chattel and quoted scripture to justify it, property rights over human rights was God's way, they secretly lived in fear that one day, instead of saying, yes, massa, those gaunt, weary, sweat-soaked field hands bending low over the cotton under the burning sun would suddenly stand up straight, look around, see their sweltering and stooping kin, and say, this ain't the product of intelligent design. The boss man in the big house has been lying to me. Something is wrong with this system. This is the moment freedom begins. The moment you realize someone else has been writing your story, and it's time you took the pen from his hand and started writing it yourself.